Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into a pretty wild idea. What if our digital world isn't just a bunch of tools we built? What if it's actually a living ecosystem, evolving all on its own right in front of us? And more importantly, what will that evolution mean for all of us 10 years down the line? I mean, think about it. Have you ever been online and just felt that chaotic energy? The way trends explode out of nowhere and things just seem to have a life of their own? Well, you're not wrong to feel that way. There's a really compelling case to be made that our digital world is starting to behave just like a biological system. So here's the big shift in thinking we need to make. We've got to stop looking at tech as just static stuff we build and control. We need to see it for what it's becoming, a dynamic living ecosystem. It's an idea that's been around for a while, like Kevin Kelly talked about in his book Out of Control. These incredibly complex networks are showing signs of life. To really get this, we have to go back to basics, back to where all life begins, right? Genetics. See, for any system to evolve, it needs two things: a way to make copies of itself, and a way for those copies to change a little bit, to mutate. So how on earth does that happen in a digital world? Well, check out this parallel. In biology, we have DNA. It's the blueprint, right? It replicates, it mutates. In the digital world, the DNA is just information. It could be software code, or it could even be an internet meme. Just like a successful gene, a powerful meme replicates and mutates as it spreads from person to person, evolving based on what gets the most attention. And you can see this process happening perfectly in the world of open source software. A programmer can fork a project. That's basically creating a perfect copy, an offspring with the same genetic code. Then they can add their own changes, their own mutations. And if those changes are good, if they're successful, they can be merged back into the main project, pushing its evolution forward. It's literally evolution in action, but for lines of code. Okay, so it's not enough for this new digital life to just reproduce. It also has to learn from its environment, right? It has to adapt. And this is where AI comes into the picture. It's basically the nervous system for this whole digital ecosystem. At the very heart of AI's ability to learn, you'll find artificial neural networks. And what are they? Well, honestly, they're systems that are directly modeled on our own brains. They're built from these vast networks of interconnected nodes. You can think of them as digital neurons that all work together to process information. This all goes back to a really simple but incredibly powerful idea from 1949: cells that fire together wire together. What it means is that every time two of your brain cells are active at the same time, the connection between them literally gets stronger. It's how our brains physically build memories and learn new skills. And here's the mind-blowing part. AI learns in the exact same way. It's a principle called synaptic plasticity. As an AI sifts through data, the connections between its digital neurons are either strengthened or weakened based on the feedback it gets. This is how it learns to spot patterns and changes behavior, all without a human programming every single step. And one of the most powerful ways it does this is through something called reinforcement learning. Think about it like training a pet. The AI agent tries something, and if it's a good move, it gets a reward. If it's a bad move, a penalty. Through endless trial and error, it figures out the best strategy. This is how AI has gotten so good at complex games, and it's how it's learning to do things like drive cars in the chaos of the real world. So we have digital DNA and a digital brain, but this is where it gets really wild. What happens when these individual digital systems start working together? They form something bigger, something more complex, something you could call a digital superorganism. You see this in nature all the time. Think about an ant colony. Each ant is just following a few simple rules, but together, the colony can build these incredible structures and find food with unbelievable efficiency. Or think about a flock of birds, how it moves like one single fluid being. That's swarm intelligence. Well, guess what? We are now building that exact principle into our AI systems. We're using algorithms inspired by swarms in nature to solve some of our most complex problems, from coordinating fleets of delivery drones to managing traffic flow across an entire smart city. No one's in charge. The system just organizes itself. And the comparison is just uncanny. Look at an ant colony next to a modern cloud platform, like what Google runs. The platform is made of millions of individual servers and algorithms, the ants, that are constantly communicating to achieve a huge collective goal, like answering your search query in a fraction of a second. It's a superorganism. And if you zoom all the way out, some thinkers like Francis Halligan argue that all these interconnected digital superorganisms are starting to link up into a single planetary scale intelligence, a global brain. And that's not just a cool metaphor, it's a real network that's already processing information and influencing global events at a speed we can barely comprehend. Okay, so this brings us to the real question, the one that actually matters for our lives. If this digital ecosystem is evolving, what are the downstream effects? What is our world actually going to look and feel like in 10 years because of this? And what part do we play in it? As Yuval Noah Harari says here, we are not just passive bystanders watching this happen. We are the architects. We are setting the evolutionary pressures. The goals we program into these systems today will have massive, world-shaping effects a decade from now. Think about it. A social network optimized purely for engagement is going to create a very different society than one optimized for accuracy. A global supply chain designed only for speed will reshape our cities in a totally different way than one designed for sustainability. These choices are being made right now, and they're defining the future we will all inhabit. So, I'll leave you with this to really think about. As we get more and more tangled up with this technology, the lines are getting incredibly blurry. So what is our role here? Are we the creators who just kick this whole thing off and now we have to let it go? Are we supposed to be its caretakers, its gardeners, trying to gently guide its growth? Or are we actually becoming something else entirely, just one part of a new hybrid form of life that's emerged?